And we are off. Looks like Hironori is going to go first. And he's going to want to be really explosive here. He has to be careful. When your opponent flips over Drampa GX, you know that you're playing against Garbodor, so you have to be careful about how many items you're putting in the discard pile. But at a certain point, you just have to prioritize your own setup before any of that.
Yeah, and your Mega Rayquaza does have 220 HP, so you have a little leeway, but it starts racking up because you're like, okay, I'll play like 5 items, but then you're like, well, I need to use this Versus Seeker. Well, I need an Ultra Ball. Well, I only have these items in my hand to discard, so... And it just starts building up, so it is something to be very wary of. Yeah,
it's very easy for this deck to play, 10, 12 items pretty early. Ultra Ball is into Hoopa is kind of the normal play here. Scoundrel Ring will find 3 EXs.
And there we see the Magearna. It kind of will be a little bit irrelevant because it will stop Espeon from de-evolving the Mega Rayquaza.
Sure. It'll also stop Righteous Edge.
Yes,
stops effects of attacks.
Mallow. Searching your deck for any 2 cards and putting them on top of your deck. I love this interaction with Unknown, especially.
Yeah, so Hironori is going to go ahead and search his deck for any 2 cards, put them on top, and then he can draw them with Unknown or Shaman. He had a Shaman off the Hoopa. So it's basically, kind of build your own teammate sort of thing. Usually you're putting those cards, usually Mallow's not great because you're putting those cards on top and then you're saying, I have to, hope I don't get end and draw them over the next couple turns. But with either Unknown or Shaman, you're able to just grab them immediately.
And when you're a deck that plays 3 Shaman EX, 4 Shaman EX, it's an insane card, especially since you can use it going first, unlike Teammates where you have to wait until the Pokemon gets knocked out.
Right, and we see Hironori taking some time just to see what's prized, so make sure he knows what he wants to select. Didn't quite see what he got there, but I'm sure we'll see it once he draws it. Having some,
the new sleeves.
Yeah, having some shuffle troubling there. Some trouble shuffling there, rather.
All right. I believe it was like some sort of Rayquaza pieces.
I'm sure.
Oh, it looks like a Sycamore. Now Jeremiah's having trouble with the new sleeves, too.
The interesting thing about Rayquaza, and one of the things that makes it so powerful, as we see Shaman setting up for 4, drawing all those cards, is that you can actually evolve into the Mega Rayquaza on the very first turn.
Yeah, so he got the Spirit Link and the Sycamore off the Mallow, from what it looks like.
He's going to go ahead and attach to an Unknown, so he has a chance to to retreat next turn.
He did not get the Mega.
Yeah, he didn't have the Mega, but he does have a supporter for next turn. He just kind of prioritized that over the Mega.
Yeah, but I like not playing the Spirit Link because usually like, well, I have it, might as well play it. But with Field Blower, it's kind of a liability to have on the field.
Yeah, you have so many Spirit Links that the only reason you would play it is if you were afraid of N, but you have so many left in the deck, it's not that big of a deal. Very smart of Hironori there not to just slam it on the board.
And here's the turn 1 Bridget from Jeremiah. Most likely getting a bunch of trouble. She got 3. The full house.
Yeah, it depends on how people tend to play this deck, whether Garbodor or Drampa is your main attacker. But in this matchup specifically, you can't really Drampa very efficiently because you'll be trading poorly. You won't be taking 1-hit knockouts most of the time. Whereas with Garbodor, you actually have a very reasonable chance of taking 1-hit knockouts as your opponent just has to play items like we talked about earlier.
Yeah, and we do see the Big Wheel GX coming from Drampa, getting 10 fresh cards for Jeremiah, hoping Hironori doesn't have an N, because 10 brand new cards is pretty great.
Yeah,
And wow, we see the Ultra Ball was the next card for Hironori.
Yeah, a lot of Big Wheel GXs turn out to be shuffle your hand into your deck, force your opponent to play an N.
Yeah.
They just, it's really hard to just pass the turn with your opponent having 10 cards in hand if you can help it.
I think he's going to have to, though, because there's a Sycamore in his hand, and that's basically it.
Yeah, he did get the Sycamore last turn, and he doesn't have any bench space or anything to play a Tapu Lele. So he's not going to, looks like he's going to have to Sycamore this turn. Having a conversation with the judge about shuffling, maybe, not really sure. But you did see that Spirit Link come down on the Rayquaza, and then he Ultra Balled for the Mega, so he is going to be able to evolve without ending his turn. one of the downsides of Mega Evolutions is they end your turn, but those Spirit Links kind of get around that.
Alright, seems to be resolving shortly, but... So, looking at the matchup, who do you think has like the inherent advantage right now? Or not right now, but like with their decks and stuff?
I would think that unless things go bad for Jeremiah, I would think that he is probably a little bit favored. He has, once you get to the point where Garbodor can knock out Rayquazas, it becomes a bad trade for them. With that being said, it is entirely possible that Hironori just does not play enough items and just keeps him off of it the whole time and just runs Jeremiah over, because it is absolutely possible for the Rayquaza deck to just take a turn 2 knockout, take a turn 3 knockout, and just sweep the board. Yeah,
exactly. This deck really can get going on just one Ultra Ball. Ultra Ball gets Hoopa, Hoopa gets everything else.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because it's interesting, right? Because you want the Garbotoxin Garbodor because you want there to be you want to shut off their abilities, but depending on how the game can go, they don't need consistent use of abilities. A lot of the time, they just need like one big turn. They are going to want to Dragonite things back. They are going to want to use abilities eventually, but if they can get ahead enough in the early turns before you have the Garbotoxin, sometimes it just doesn't matter.
Yeah, and there we see an Ultra Ball come down, discarding 2 supporters, getting another Shaman EX, which, by the way, the Japanese Shaman EX reverse foil is beautiful.
I think all the foils look really nice. They're just that kind of very shiny silver. And see, this is exactly what I was talking about, is that this is all happening before Jeremiah could have a Garbodor out, even if he didn't prize it, right? Like, Hironori is just getting everything he needs, and there was no chance of Garbodor even under the best circumstances.
So unfortunately for Hironori, it does not look like he has access to like Mega Turbo and like a basic energy in the discard, but he does have another Mega Rayquaza he could set up if he chooses to. Yeah, it would kind of limit his ability to play the Tapu Lele in his hand.
Yeah, so there's another.
Oh wait, no, but he has evolution. The unknown.
Yeah, I don't think he has. I don't know if he has the Mega Turbo though. It looks like he's just going to go ahead and promote Tapu Koko.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to leave that DC to get Righteous Edge the next turn.
Yeah, absolutely. So Hironori is actually, despite having 8 Pokemon on his bench and 2 evolutions in play and a DCE, he's actually did not have as explosive of a start as I've seen these decks have. Like, this isn't bad by any means, but this is definitely not optimal. There's a lot of worlds in which Hironori could have gotten a knockout
and
there.
Here we see Jeremiah's actually playing the Po-Town. Kind of been like a off and on inclusion in these decks. It does allow him to get damage to activate Berserk if he chooses to, and it gets rid of the Skyfield to bring down Hironori's bench too.
Yeah, that's another huge thing. It looks like there's 3 Po-Towns in Jeremiah's list. Yeah, I think Po-Town is great. I think Stadiums are great in general, especially versus this deck. Rayquaza needs the Stadium in play. Like, it's doing 150 as it stands, which is fine. Like, it's an amount of damage, but it is not beating anything. Then the whole point is that you have so many Pokemon in play, and you can just take big one-hit knockouts, pretty much regardless of what Pokemon you're playing against.
Yeah, and with the 3 Po-Town and 2 Field Blower, it looks like Jeremiah might win, like, the Stadium War, as we call it.
Yeah, just because Hironori was forced to play the first Skyfield, which he always has to do, basically, it now gives Jeremiah an inherent advantage, even outside of the Field Blower. Which
wow,
really
I like this, actually. He Tapu Lele Wonder Tag for a Guzma. We could see a Guzma on the Mega Ray, and he could Righteous Edge, or no, he's just going to Trash Lance.
Well, he could retreat into the...
Oh, no,
yeah. I don't know how many items on the discard pile. I think both are completely reasonable. Like, he has to soften it up.
90 damage is plenty. It's good. And now you have a 1 prize attacker. So it will try to force Hironori into an awkward position where... Because he wants to take knockouts on Tapu Lele, Drampa, and now is staring down a Garbodor with a Choice Band. And then we see a Wonder Tag from Hironori. Thanks to the second Skyfield, he actually decided to keep it last turn and discarded his 2 supporters that he had instead, just because, like, well, I need this card.
Yeah, he definitely knew but was up. He knows how important having that Skyfield in play in the right moment is.
And there we see an N. Both players will shuffle in and draw 6. Hironori's definitely looking for at least an energy that would at least allow him to get the knockout.
Yeah, ideally he wants to see, Mega Turbo, double colorless, just even a stadium, just a way to keep a stadium for if it gets knocked next
turn. You're shooting
turn.
For the fences then.
You just want to have as many things built up as possible. I do see he has the Mega Turbo, so he can kind of accelerate himself if he has another energy to attach, but even just the Mega Turbo is enough to get a knockout here.
Yeah, unfortunately his hand is full of items, and he's just going to keep playing more items as the game goes on.
So there is the Mega Turbo. Another one of the things that makes the Rayquaza deck powerful is just allowing you to accelerate your energy. And there is a knockout. Okay, I think there are 4 items in the discard pile now. There were 3 last turn.
All right, and then now he's deciding, well, I could bring up this Drampa, and he does have a double color, so it seems like the safe play.
Yeah, he already has a double close. He already has the pieces in hand, just to take a knockout.
And the thing that hurt Hironori last turn is off that end, he did not get another energy, so he will have to use another Mega Turbo if he wants to attack next turn with Mega Rayquaza.
Yeah, he would have liked to have seen just any energy, but particularly a double colorless to attach to kind of keep the second Mega Rayquaza up. So that's a great point. He is going to have to rebuild entirely and could easily miss. He needs another Mega Turbo and a double colorless.
And one thing I actually see in Jeremiah's list is he does play that one Team Flare Grunt, where earlier we were talking about Frank Diaz's 2 Plumeria and how no one really played Team Flare Grunt when they played Tapu Leles. Jeremiah's like, well, yeah, Team Flare Grunt's still pretty good, and it could be something in this matchup too that might come in handy.
Yeah, I think Team Flare Grunt's great in general, but especially in this deck where sometimes you're not going to be able to take the one-hit KOs, and because you have to attach 3 energy to Drampa, so you just need an extra turn or 2. I think it's really, really strong, and especially if there comes a situation where there's
Righteous Edge and Flare Grunt. Turn.
Yeah, I've definitely done that where you just wipe your opponent's board of energy, and you just feel so ahead, even if you're not getting a knockout.
All right, and he actually gets the Garbotoxin Garbodor from the prizes with that Berserk knockout. And now Hironori's kind of on the back foot. He needs to get this Mega Rayquaza up and attacking. And he definitely needs another Skyfield just to even knock out the Drampa GX.
Yeah, he needs multiple pieces here. I see his supporter for the turn is going to be a Skyla, but I don't think that's going to do it for this turn. He's going to go ahead and look through his deck, just determine what he wants to get. But that is
I wonder if he even has an Ultra Ball left. Because that would probably be what you get, right? Get a Shaman.
Get Ultra Ball and then get a Shaman. But I don't think there is one left. There is a Shaman left, I saw, but I mean, nothing really does it for him this turn. Versus Seeker is good for next turn. It can guarantee he'll have a supporter.
But that's not what you want.
Yeah, he's just going to fall so far behind.
If I'm Jeremiah and I'm like, oh, he's getting a Versus Seeker?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man, yes. Yeah, come on, let's go.
It looks like just a bunch of energy and a Field Blower in hand for Hironori there. Yeah, we see the...
This is not what you want to be doing either. Just flying flip for 20 everywhere.
Yeah, you don't really need to soften anything up. You're not going to take, it's not like Jeremiah's deck is full of low HP Pokemon you're going to take knockouts on. Very bad spot for Hironori to be in now.
And one of the really nice utilities about this Mega Rayquaza deck is Dragonite EX. Its pull-up ability, being able to get 2 basic Pokemon from the discard to your hand. It allows you to reuse Shaman, reuse Hoopas even, and more Rayquaza EXs. And with Garbotoxin now active, you can't really do that.
Yeah, it's the Dragonite EX is really what makes the deck work to an extent. You can just get back all of those Pokemon after your Skyfield has been bounced or they've been knocked out or whatever. Also a big player in the Mega Gardevoir deck that we don't really see much anymore.
All right.
He actually can't do... Oh, no, sorry, yeah. I forgot he did play the Garbotoxin.
Yeah. One interaction that's kind of weird. And something that might come up because Hironori has that Field Blower in his hand. So he can Field Blower the Choice Band off if he wants to use an ability, but then Jeremiah can discard a EX Pokemon that has some damage that he doesn't really want to keep on the bench. And we see a Sycamore, 7 brand new cards. What's Jeremiah really looking for, though? He's kind of just more energy, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing he could have really done better that turn. He's not going to get a knockout on the Rayquaza or anything. He just needs to try and get more energy for the Garbodor. I guess Espeon could come up. I don't think that's going to be what happens here. Hironori finds a double colorless.
Yeah, well, he had a couple in his hand last turn just from the flying flip that he did, and he's still needing to find the Mega Turbo now, too, because he already attached for the turn.
Yeah, so now the roadblock comes on, and Jeremiah needs to discard a Pokemon. There we go.
I think one of my favorite interactions in this Mega Rayquaza deck is Sudowoodo and Skyfield and how they work together, because Skyfield is a stadium. That means both players can use the effect of it, which means both players can play up to 8 bench Pokemon. But with Sudowoodo in play, your opponent can only have 4 bench Pokemon. So you can have 8, your opponent can have 4.
Right, so basically makes it a kind of a one-sided ordeal there. You do have to take up 1 bench spot to pay the Sudowoodo, but you're still at
7
plus
others.
3, yeah.
All right, here we see the N. Jeremiah is drawing 3, while Hironori is drawing 5.
Jeremiah's 3 were Guzma, Sycamore, Trash Lance, Garbodor, so
it's not bad.
Pretty good place to be. Is there a Mega Turbo in hand for Hironori? He has attached a double colorless.
There's not. It's up to it's unknown.
Draws a Skyfield.
Okay. Can he do anything? So he has a Rangaroo, but I don't know if he can get his hand down below 3 to actually draw cards.
It doesn't look like it.
And this Mega Rayquaza, yeah.
Okay, he's going to go ahead and just concede.
Game 1.
So, as we saw in an earlier round with Mark Garcia, Hironori is just saying, I don't think I can win this game. Yes, it is not technically over yet. I have not lost, but I want to concede now so we can save time for the rest of the match. I think that was really smart. Missing the Mega Turbo there means that you're just so far behind. Your opponent has 3 prizes left. They're going to take at least 1 more. You have to rebuild, hope they don't have Team Flare Grunt or any
and to
weird
even
stuff
get
like
in that position, you had to use, 3 item cards?
Yeah, every turn, anything you do, you're just adding more and more item cards, just making that Garbodor better and better in the future turns.
That's why this Trash Lance deck is so powerful. Is the longer the game goes, the better your deck becomes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the key interactions that makes the Gardevoir deck so good in the current metagame is being able to shuffle your items back into your deck, right? You play against Garbodor and you go, all right, I'll shuffle 10 cards back in my deck.
Twilight GX, you do 0 to me.
I don't want them, but I'm just going to put them back because I don't want them in my discard pile. So, and it's just, you're absolutely right earlier when you said that Garbodor has shaped the metagame, just shaped how people play Pokemon, because it used to be just as many items as you can. There's no real downside to playing them besides conserving resources, and now there's a huge, every item that goes in your discard pile versus a Garbodor deck changes the math and punishes you. But again, you can't just not play items. They're in your deck for a reason.
Exactly, and we do see the players drawing up for game 2. It seems like a Tapu Koko start with nothing really much other than a Sycamore to discard his hand.
For Jeremiah, yeah. So Hironori is going to be hoping that he can have a little bit more consistent of a start. We saw him get a lot of things on board. We saw him get evolutions out, but unfortunately we did not see, a turn 2 attack from him. He had energy problems the entire game. He really wants to be able to attack on the second turn and then kind of follow that up with DCE, Mega Turbo, and keep a stream of Rayquazas coming.
Yeah, this deck's very powerful, but when you're taking prizes against non-EX attackers or non-GX attackers, then you really do need to not really take that turn off. You want to get those knockouts every single turn.
So 2 Rayquaza EXs prized for Hironori, and a Stadium and a Field Blower prize for Jeremiah, so nothing back-breaking.
All right, let's see how good this turn can be. We do see a Hoopa EX in his hand with a couple Ultra Balls and Spirit Link, I believe. So we'll be in for this turn for at least a couple minutes.
Yeah, and having to play against the non-EXs, like you said, is so difficult because the whole point of Rayquaza, one of the reasons that it's so good is because you can kind of knock out basically anything in one hit. And so when you're only taking one prize because you're not really taking advantage of what the deck is supposed to do. Not to mention that it's not that hard for the one prize attackers to knock you out with if you have 12 items, or 10 items, 11 items rather in the discard pile.
Exactly.
And it is also not hard for them, even if they're trading 2-hit knockouts, it's fine, right? Like you're trading fairly at that point. Except for their attacks cost 1 energy.
Yeah. All right, here we see an Ultra Ball. Probably getting like unknown, I would guess. Maybe
he could go for the Mega Ray if he has the Spirit Link. He could go for a Shaman if he just wants to drop more things. He could go for it. It just depends on what the rest of his hand is like. Looks like Tapu Lele going to find a Mallow, and he's going to do the same thing that he did last turn. One of the cards was a double colorless, so this is kind of the standard setup here is just, I played my Hoopa, I got my EXs, and then Ultra Ball for this Tapu Lele. Put another 2 cards. So basically I'm going to search my deck for 5 cards that I really want here.
He actually has the Mega in hand too.
Oh wow, he already has it in hand.
And an Ultra Ball to play after all this if he chooses to. Skyfield, another Shaman.
Yeah, it looks
this
like
is the kind of explosive start I was looking for game 1.
Yeah, exactly. He now has a Rayquaza, with Mega Rayquaza, with just needing 1 more energy. He's played 2 Shamans this turn to draw a total of 8 cards, I believe. He's really just going off here.
Is an Ultra Ball discard an energy, so if he draws a Mega Turbo, it's turned on?
Yeah, he's just completely ready here. He can even, he's not doing anything. He's not attacking with this turn anyway, so he can Mega Evolution and just that'll end his turn and that'll be fine. He just has 2 Rayquazas up. Yeah, we see that Magearna not really too relevant in this matchup. Does protect against some things, but just deciding to get rid of it there. You can always get it back with Dragonite if it really becomes a problem, but...
All right, so does he go for another Mega or the Shaman here? Or, both with the Hoopa is what it looked like.
I was just going to say, it looks like that's what his plan is just why not? I'm going to play all these Hoopas. This is another interesting thing about how this deck works is that when Jeremiah chooses to get rid of the Skyfield, which he has to do, it's not the worst thing that could ever happen to Hironori, because he's going to go get rid of those Hoopas, get rid of those liabilities, right? He definitely wants to keep a Skyfield in play at all times, but getting one knocked out as long as he has another one is fine.
Yeah, and if he does, Hironori's hand is amazing, especially when that happens. It's Skyfield, Dragonite EX, and a Shaman. It's all he can really ask for. And with a Sycamore from Jeremiah's side, do see an Ultra Ball. There's an energy on a Trubbish, but there's not... The turns compared to Hironori's deck is kind of a little lackluster, not as flashy.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Rayquaza may be the most flashy deck. You're just doing so much. Hironori has 7 Pokemon on his bench. He has double colorless. He has 2 evolutions in play. All of his Pokemon are EXs or GXs. There's no other deck in the format that can kind of have the explosive turns like Hironori's can.
All right, we do see the Ultra Ball getting a Drampa GX. Getting a Trubbish instead. Trash Lance is a little bit better just because it's a 1 prize attacker. Drampa can't really... I think Righteous Edge is probably better than Berserk in this matchup. You're just not going to be able to get 1-hit KOs with Berserk. That's the whole point of it, is that you want to be able to knock out take as many EX knockouts as possible, and even if the Rayquaza has damage from this is
Mallow.
Dirty. A second Mallow with the Shaman in hand. Mega Turbo double colorless, maybe?
He definitely took a Mega Turbo, but like I was saying, just Trash Lance is so much more powerful than Berserk in these spots. You do attack with the Drampa sometimes. We saw that happen last game, but generally you want to keep a steady stream of Garbodors until you can't anymore.
Yeah, but like we've seen with this amazing 2 turns, Hironori's played, 3 items? 4 items?
Something like that. Very, very few.
There's an energy to retreat. Mega Turbo. going on to the active.
Yeah, now that the Mega Turbo, or now the energy's in the discard pile, I can go ahead and safely Mega Turbo.
And Hironori's set. Not really much you can do. Like, I got my setup, and he's like, all right, now it's on you.
Yeah, exactly. He's just, he has everything going for him now. The only thing he's going to need is another, to build up that other Rayquaza, but he already has the actual Pokemon on the board, and there's no risk of the active one getting knocked out this turn, so he has time to do that as well. He is fully in the driver's seat here.
And here we see Jeremiah off those 7 cards draw the Ultra Ball. He will be able to get a Garbodor in play if he chooses to.
There.
But other than that, his hand doesn't really do much else this turn. He does have a Potown, which can bump the Skyfield from play. But with Hironori having another Skyfield and even just the Garbodor not really having that much HP, kind of lackluster right now.
Yeah, he just he's going to play it just to. You kind of have to. You just kind of have to keep Hironori off of it, but he's definitely behind here. Not a great place for Jeremiah to be. And let's see how many items are in there. Is that 4?
I believe so.
Yeah, so 4 items, nowhere near enough to knock out a Mega Rayquaza. And even on this turn, well, there's a Skyfield. What I was going to say, even on this turn, Hironori has enough to just knock out the Garbodor, even if he doesn't hit the Skyfield. So it's not absolutely crucial, but now his options are way open.
He has that Dragonite EX too.
Yeah, Sycamore, Dragonite, even has a Field Blower if there's any targets for that. Just really doing it all, but it looks like he might just choose to attack here.
Well, he definitely wants to get more energy in play because that's the problem he had last game.
Oh, sorry. I thought he had attack. I thought that was an energy, not a Spirit Link on the benched one.
That Sycamore got him exactly what he needed, a double colorless.
There we go.
A couple energy for next turn also. And your boy Guzma.
Yeah, absolutely huge. There is a knockout. Down to 2 prizes for Hironori, and Jeremiah is struggling to get anything going here. He does
draw the Trash Lance Garbodor. It's one of the cards he needed.
All right, and here comes an end. So he's putting up a fight, but it's so hard when you have to struggle to knock out this active Mega Rayquaza, and you know there's another one waiting in the wings. Like, and then that's going to take you at least another turn or 2 to deal with, and then you can build up another one. So Hironori is just way ahead here.
Yeah, and with Hironori discarding an item off that Sycamore, it does mean that Trash Lance will do, what, 100 now? So if he can find a Field Blower to get rid of both the Spirit Links, he can take a knock, or no. Yeah, he can't take a knockout. But doesn't look, he only has the Choice Band, and I think that's 10 short.
Yep, if there are 5, he is going to be short here. He's just looking at the discard pile to confirm.
We might see a play of Jeremiah de-evolving the Rayquaza with Espeon EX.
That could happen. I feel like that's a unfortunate place to be if that does happen, but it is one of the powers of Jeremiah's deck. But now look at that. So you haven't dealt with this Rayquaza yet. It's close, but it's still on the board, and your opponent has another one fully built up now. If you're Jeremiah, you're just feeling so far behind.
Yeah, and there's Guzma bringing up the Drampa GX.
Yep, Hironori just saying, I want to end this game as quickly as possible. I'm going to take a knockout here. One more EX or GX knockout, and the game is over. You are not threatening to knock me out with anything that's currently on your board. I have 2 attackers, so even if you do, I have something waiting in the backup. It's just Jeremiah is just so far behind, and this is exactly how the Rayquaza deck wants to function. Like, this is much more indicative of what Hironori wants to do than game 1.
Yeah, turn 1 he got set up. Turn 2 knockout. Turn 3 knockout. Turn 4 knockout. Turn 5 knockout.
Right, he just wants to have it's exactly what he wants to be doing, and Jeremiah is still playing. He's not completely out of it yet, but
yeah, but with Hironori having the Versus Seeker in his hand that he got from the prizes, another Guzma will be able to take the knockout, and he sees the writing on the wall.
I think Jeremiah almost was like, oh, I'm going to retreat and try to do things, and then he was just like, oh, actually, never mind. Well, there's just no more.
I wanted him to de-evolve the Mega Rayquaza just because.
Just for value.
Just for value. style points, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah, I understand. I understand. So we've kind of seen the two decks function like they're supposed to. Game 1, Jeremiah was able to just, play Trash Lance, Garbodors, Garbotoxin, Hironori out of the game. And then, he struggled to set up anything up. And then Game 2, Hironori absolutely went off with basically the best start. Not the actual best. It's not like he had two Rayquazas set up on the second turn, but as close as you can get. Always had two Rayquazas on the board. Skyfield was out of play for one turn, I think. Just never
Not
felt
even
pressured.
one turn. It was like Jeremiah's turn. He's like, oh, I got another one.
Yeah, he just play it. Yeah, it was never felt pressured. He was in the driver's seat that entire game, and that's the power of the Mega Rayquaza deck. Is just there are games like that where you just completely take over because you're so fast and so aggressive.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see because the first two games, Hironori went first. Jeremiah will actually have a chance to really just get the Garbodors out earlier, and we'll see if it actually makes a difference. Wow, looking at Hironori's hand, there's like 3 Shaman and a Magearna.
I guess that's what happens when you play so many Shaman EX. Taking a look at
where's the Wally into the Garbotoxin with Floatstone?
2 Drampa GX prized. All of them
yeah.
for Jeremiah.
Man.
Wow, so he's gonna have, and then not too bad of prizes for Hironori. So he's gonna, on this initial deck search, Jeremiah's gonna learn that there's no Drampa GXs
And he's going for
left
the
in his
Frigid
deck.
too, so that's heartbreaking.
I mean, he does want to focus on Trubbishes going into Garbodors here, but he also wants Drampas. Like, we've seen him attack with Drampa each game. It is a necessary part because you have to rebuild your Garbodors, so they take time. So you can see he's looking through his deck.
I think he's
this
finally
is the
realized
third or fourth
yeah.
time that he's like, oh, wow, this is actually happening. All of my Drampas
Like, come on, this is my winning into day 2 of Worlds.
Yeah, this game is going to be a lot harder.
I'm going quad Trubbish.
It is interesting because I think that a lot of this matchup will come down to what Hironori's start is like. I
think there's, 3 Sycamore and a Seeker in his hand also?
Oh, wow. And it looks like he's going to go around that with Wonder Tag.
So next turn, he will be able to end his hand weight if he chooses to. And we might see Tapu Lele as his secondary attacker instead of Drampa GX.
Yeah, I mean, he has to do something here. So this is a really interesting turn, I think. Let's see what Hironori can put together.
Hironori's hand is Skyfields. Oh, he has the Hoopa too. Wow.
Is that just 3 Shaman in his hand?
3 Shaman, Hoopa, Skyfield versus Seeker. So yeah. Scoundrelling coming down.
So there are just times where this Mega Rayquaza deck just seems unbeatable, right? Like, there is so little that Jeremiah could have done last game. Yeah, exactly. Like, Jeremiah probably could have searched his deck for 2 or 3 cards every turn and still not really gotten there, right? Like, there's just so little you can do against a huge attacker that can, evolve immediately, attack on the first turn if you or attack on the attack in 1 turn, build up your energy in 1 turn with DC and Mega Turbo. Like, there's so little you can do in some of these spots that it just it feels like you're almost helpless, and it doesn't always happen. That's why Mega Rayquaza is not completely broken, is because it's very fragile. But
so unfortunately for Hironori, these Shamans are drawing like 2 cards instead of 4 cards, 6 cards. He did get a Mallow off of the 2 cards though, so maybe he's going to be able to put together at least something like of substance for his turn.
Yeah, it looks like he'll be able to Shaman for 3 after he plays this Mallow, so he'll be able to draw all the cards. It's just a matter of which cards he wants to leave on top.
Well, he definitely needs some energy. Spirit Link, Mega Rays too.
Yeah, he needs more than he can realistically put on top, but I think double colorless Mega Rayquaza is fine. He just wants to get energy on the board and he wants to evolve. He'd like to have a Spirit Link so he can do things after that, but it's fine to just evolve and end your turn.
The thing that he's really kind of glad the way this game's turned out so far is he hasn't had to play any items yet. He had the Hoopa in hand. He had all the Shamans in hand.
There's a double colorless.
And wow, there's an Ultra Ball too. So yeah, his next turn is going to be just as good, if not better than this turn. But we do see the end from Jeremiah that he got last turn with Wonder Tag, shuffling away the really good hand that Hironori had set up for next turn.
He did have a really good hand set up for next turn, but I also don't think this is the end of the world because he doesn't really need a whole lot. Like, a lot of his cards are just redundant. They're just cards that draw cards, or they're Mega Rayquazas, or they're like, he can draw a hand of, you know, a bunch of Spirit Links and Energy or something, but he just doesn't. He already has an attacker ready to go, and if that Skyfield isn't challenged here, it won't be a big deal at all.
Yeah, so Jeremiah does get the Garbotoxin Garbodor with a Float Stone, so Garbotoxin is now active. But, like, he has the Trash Lance Garbodor, but it's doing 0 damage, especially with the resistance from Magearna EX.
Well, and now Hironori's in a really interesting position because he's just saying, all right, I haven't played any items yet, and I kind of don't really need to. As long as things go all right for me, it's not like I need to, you know, I've already rushed 1 turn. I don't need to, you know, go crazy for the next few turns. As long as I can just consistently find energy and stuff. So he can wait as long as he wants to play item cards.
And yeah, the Sycamore's only discarding 1, so not really a big deal for him. And Jeremiah's kind of just like, please play items. Please play items.
Exactly. And there are a lot of times where you, in a deck, in Mega Rayquaza or any deck like this, is very explosive. He does find the energy.
Wow.
That you need to play a bunch of items to kind of go off. But Hironori just didn't need to. He just had all those Shamans in his hand. And so now, again, he's just in a position where he's like, oh, why would I play items? Like, I already have this set up. I'm just going to do this until you can beat it, which I don't think you can.
But even if he does, though, it's, what, 40 damage now you're doing?
Yeah, exactly. There's just, like, and
that's nothing.
Hironori doesn't know this, of course, but Jeremiah's surprised. I mean, he just has to Garbodor him. There's a second Rayquaza, so kind of the second piece to the puzzle. He has a full Rayquaza built up. Now he has a second one on the board at the cost of 2 item cards in the discard pile. And here we go.
Emerald Break for the knockout. And now with 13 minutes left to go, Hironori's looking pretty.
Yeah, I think something big would have to change in order for Jeremiah to be able to take this game. Just Hironori is going to play as few items as possible. He doesn't need any abilities at the moment. Jeremiah doesn't have any Drampas to attack with to kind of set anything up and kind of be able to play, not worry about Hironori playing items. It's just going to be so hard for him.
So with that end, Jeremiah draws 6 brand new cards. He has a Field Blower that's 40 more damage. He definitely needs that right now.
All right, that's
so now it's 80.
That's one step. I mean, that's
getting somewhere.
Yeah, like Jeremiah's not completely out of it, but it's just so difficult here when he's going to be doing 80 damage, immediately get knocked out and have to find another attacker.
Or no, is that 120?
Oh yeah, there must be
something. Must have
2, 3, 4. Oh no, yeah. Okay.
Oh, okay. I knew I was right.
Yeah, I didn't think it was more, but 120 would have been a lot better.
Yeah,
that would have been different.
Jeremiah being the good guy and be like, yeah, I don't do that much.
And now we have an energy on, and like I said, so we have an energy on the Mega Rayquaza, and Hironori's just not playing anything. Why does he want to play anything? You know, he's just gonna say there's gonna be 8 items in my discard pile until you prove to me that there needs to be more, until I need to rebuild something.
And even with the way Jeremiah's field is right now, he can attach the double colorless to energy drive, but it's only doing 120 damage.
It will not.
It would still have 20 left, and there's an Acerola in Hironori's hand.
Wow.
So it could be a heartbreaking turn we're about to see here, honestly. There's an Ultra Ball. Probably trying to look for those Drampas again. Just like, are you sure?
Yeah, maybe they came back. No, just gets a Garbodor, the only real option left for Jeremiah. And he, like you said, he does have that double colorless.
Yeah, so with this end, he needs to find that choice band. And even then, he's still most likely going to lose this game. But to get any sort of comeback going, he needs that choice band.
I mean, this is how the comeback starts, right? Is Jeremiah gets a knockout, and then Hironori gets end to 4. 4 is a lot of cards, but maybe he just doesn't find it. He struggles, like we saw him do in game 1. He doesn't hit energy, and Jeremiah's able to take over, but
no choice band from Jeremiah off that end. Okay, so the Potown is good because it means Hironori will need a Skyfield to take the knockout on the Tapu Lele GX.
Yeah, he will need a Skyfield in order to respond. I do see he has a bunch of Pokemon and a Verse Seeker in his hand, though. It's going to be 120. We pass back to Hironori.
Let's see what he can do. Versus Seeker in hand.
He is going to just need to Versus Seeker and discard the things in his hand. I don't think he has anything else to play. He can't. He doesn't have a Skyfield and he can't play any Pokemon or anything because his bench is full. So it looks like.
So he has a few of the support Pokemon in his hand, right? What it looks like a Shaman.
They're all just white EXs. I can't really tell, to be honest.
Because he could go for Lysander, bring up the Garbotoxin, take the knockout.
Does he even have a Lysander?
I believe so.
Yeah, actually, you're right. He has Lysander.
With Sycamore, you're like, okay, I'd rather just get more cards in hand. Don't want to rely on Shaman for next turn.
Yeah, it looks like a Mega Rayquaza Hoopa in his hand, but he decides I'm going to draw 7 cards. I'm so far ahead here. I just need to not.
Wow.
Does he
hits the double colors, but he also hits a couple Mega Turbos, an Ultra Ball.
Does he hit a Skyfield? He does not.
Yeah. So Potown coming in clutch.
Yeah, getting rid of the Skyfield was the key for Jeremiah. Hironori can still attack and just accept that this Pokemon's getting knocked out. He can retreat. Looks like he's going to go ahead and retreat and just soften everything up with a Tapu
Okay, this
Koko.
is smart because that means he doesn't need a Skyfield moving forward to win the game.
He's just realizing, all right, I'm going to put some damage on the board. I don't want to have to rely on Skyfield anymore. I just want to take 2 knockouts on both your Tapu Leles and end the game.
And he really can't take a knockout on this Tapu Koko without committing another energy to it. I still believe there's only 4 items in the discard, maybe 5 now.
Yeah, he versus Secret, so I do believe there are 5 now, but that's still not nearly enough. Really smart play there by Hironori. I think a lot of players would have just tried to attack with their Rayquaza and soften it up, but just the way he's done this has made it so that those Tapu Leles are just immediate liabilities.
And then we see an Ultra Ball get the Espeon. Espeon can... Oh, this is great. Espeon can de-evolve both of the Megas, and he's gone through a lot of Spirit Links already.
Yeah, I know he had 2 Spirit Links. He had 1 Spirit Link on the board, and I think he discarded another one. I'm not sure. He definitely had 1 on the board, though, because one of those was not Spirit Linked.
Yeah, well, Jeremiah's been field blowing him away whenever he has the chance. And the Flare Gun. This is the perfect turn for Jeremiah right now.
Are we going to call it a comeback?
I mean, it's the start of one. He gets the knockout on the Rayquaza EX.
Jeremiah down to 2 prizes. He
gets a Drampa.
Does draw a Drampa.
Man, this is exciting.
Yeah, Jeremiah is, was in a pretty bad position. Hit that Potown when he needed it. Hit the Espeon EX when he needed it, and is kind of crawling back into this game now. Hironori needs to find a way to evolve here. He needs to find a Spirit Link. He even has he had Mega Turbo, but they're not Megas anymore. They just have the Rayquaza just a single energy on it.
Yeah, and if he chooses to just Mega Evolve without the Spirit Link constantly, he can just all right, I'll de-evolve you again.
Yeah,
keep going.
Why would he bother? And it looks like Mallow now. Sycamore was the first card. Didn't see, or he hasn't decided on the second card yet.
Man, this is crazy.
Yeah, it looks like, and this is exactly what we were talking about, is that this deck is, it's sometimes unbeatable and sometimes it's very fragile, right? Jeremiah is still behind, don't get me wrong, but he kind of just, with the combination of knocking the Skyfield away and having the Espeon EX, he was able to just kind of reset Hironori's board.
Yeah, so the 2 cards were a Spirit Link and a Skyfield. He'll have to draw those manually, though, just because there is no abilities thanks to Garbotoxin. And here's another Flying Flip, 20 everywhere.
He also has a bunch of cards in hand. He doesn't want to discard too many there with the Ultra Ball.
All right, Super Odd, getting back some of the resources that Jeremiah needs. I see the Verse Seeker in hand. Verse Seeker for a Flare Gun could have been cute, but N's just the better play.
And is just going to reset that Mallow, too.
Exactly,
so
yeah.
Hironori's supporter for the turn was wasted.
And that's why Mallow really hasn't seen much play, because it's just not that good on its own without abilities.
Yeah, you need to be able to draw those cards immediately. It's not the same if you have to wait a turn and open yourself up to so many different things.
And with 5 minutes to go, things are looking tight.
Yeah, these next few turns are really going to determine the outcome of this match. It doesn't look like Jeremiah has an energy in his hand.
Yeah, no energy for Jeremiah, and not much of anything for Hironori, I believe.
He can choose to retreat into... He's just going for the Garbodor, and he's just going to go ahead and pass the turn.
That's interesting. Chooses not to do damage with the Tapu Lele with energy drive.
I think he's just nervous because Hironori has 4 prizes left, and if he gets set up, even if he doesn't get a Skyfield, though the Tapu Lele can get knocked out with an Emerald Break, so I think he's just kind of trying to play as conservatively as possible.
All right, so there's an Ultra Ball that Hironori drew off the top. I see maybe a supporter in his hand, but I can't quite make it out what it is.
He has a Skyfield, so he can get rid of the Po-Town and kind of start rebuilding, but he just needs so much after that.
I think it's an Acerola? Yeah.
Literally can't play the card right now.
Yeah.
So not going to do him too much good.
I wonder if that's was running through Jeremiah's head when he decided not to energy drive last turn. Like, well, I've seen Acerola in his deck. Can he Acerola this Tapu Koko, get the double colorless?
Right.
Spirit Link, Mega Evolve.
It's definitely possible. He also, Jeremiah puts himself in the position where it's kind of like if he doesn't knock out this Garbodor, it's active. I just need to draw an energy and start doing damage and taking knockouts.
All right, here we see the Sudowoodo come down. It does not have Roadblock thanks to Garbotoxin. And Flying Flip again, 20 everywhere. This Tapu Koko has been putting in work.
Yeah, Tapu Koko has done tons of damage and has really affected the game too. He hasn't taken any knockouts, but he has softened everything up to where it's much better for him if he doesn't have Skyfield in play like he doesn't have now.
And then we see the Versus Seeker for the Sycamore. 7 brand new cards coming to Jeremiah. We see a double colorless.
Do we see any energy?
Only the double colorless.
Double colorless energy, no Psychic.
Could see a Righteous Edge maybe from the Drampa GX. Try to stop this barrage of damage from Flying Flip.
Looks like that's what's going to happen, is just Righteous Edge, get rid of the energy. I don't know how many DC. I think there's just 2 DCs in the discard pile for Hironori now. And here's an end. This game has definitely taken an interesting turn. I actually wonder if we're going to see a tie here. I wouldn't have expected that at the beginning of the game, but we are whittling down the time. Players do have 4 prizes remaining each, so you know we do have plenty of turns left, but these past few turns have been very slow in plotting, so we'll have to see what each player can put together.
There we see a couple megas from Hironori, but not much else.
Yeah, still no energy. Just a Mega Rayquaza and a Skyla. And it looks like a Mega Evolution is going to be what ends the turn here.
And there we go.
Mega Evolution pass.
Choice Band come down on the Drampa GX. Choice Band on the Tapu Lele. And he had the option of like an N or a Sycamore, but he's really searching for some semblance of a Psychic Energy, but he does not get it.
Yeah, no energy again. Jeremiah does play 7.
Yeah, he super rotted 2 back earlier also.
Yeah, pretty unfortunate place to be for him. He would like to be, you know, he can do, Psychic Energy unlocks multiple things for him, either berserking if that's what he wants to do, or just trash-a-lanching, but
now he just has the big wheel.
So like I said, both players, you know, these past 2 turns for each player now have been kind of anemic, just nothing really going on, nothing huge. Here's 10 fresh cards. Here's
Finally a Psychic Energy, but it seems like, okay, now they're starting to come out. Like, where have you been? Been hiding? All right, Spirit Link finally for Hironori. Skyla, he still needs a double colorless though.
Yeah, he might have Mega Turbo. Oh, he's just Skylink for the Sycamore.
Yeah, it's kind of awkward because his hand is able to get like partially there. but he doesn't really, like, he could get the Field Blower to get rid of Garbotoxin, but then he doesn't have, like, a Shaman to draw cards or anything like that, or a Skyfield.
This entire game has just been very awkward on both sides. I mean, Hironori had the, it looked like he was just going to steamroll Jeremiah for the first couple of turns, and then that big Espeon EX turn, he just could not reset, and now it looks like time will be called on Jeremiah's turn, and I'm not sure if this game's going to complete.
Yeah, so both players having 4 prizes left. That's just 2 EX or GX knockouts, and granted, it's really easy for Hironori's deck to do, especially with all those damage on Jeremiah's side of the field. But Jeremiah can attack with single prize attackers, and it's something that he really has to watch out for.
Yeah, it is easy for him to do under the right circumstances, but unfortunately I'm not sure those circumstances are currently what's happening here. And it looks like Jeremiah gets it. Time has been called, and it looks like he is going to do a Berserk there. Big damage. Now Hironori will start his turn. Should be turn 1, I believe.
As long as our timer was correct, it should be turn 1. There's a Sycamore drawing 7 brand new cards. He didn't Mega Evolve. Maybe it's just an oversight, or...
And Hironori, considering his options, couldn't quite see what's in his hand. He's had some
Mega Turbo, so he can attack this turn if he wants to, as long as there's 2 metal in the discard.
I don't actually know if there are.
I think there's just 1. He's been kind of having the same energy issues that Jeremiah's had in the past couple turns.
Okay, so it looks like time was actually just called. So our clock was a little bit off, so Hironori will be turn 0.
All right, that's big. Jeremiah got an extra turn
yeah,
out of it.
It actually means that Jeremiah, under the right circumstances, both players could still win, but Hironori needs to take a knockout here in order to win. So Mega Turbo is not going to do it for him. He has no double colorless energy. Based on his body language, I don't think he has much that he can play in his hand. Oh, no,
he does have the 2.
Okay, my apologies. I thought there was only 1 in there.
It was hiding. It's fine.
Yeah.
All right, so Emerald Break will be able to come out this turn, but without the Skyfield, he's actually 10 short of knocking out this Drampa GX, because it's kind of a fresh Pokemon, because it came down only with 1 flying flip.
Yeah, it's definitely only been on the board for the past few turns, so not even going to be able to get the knockout here.
But to be fair, that doesn't mean he loses, because Tapu Koko can take a knockout next turn, maybe? No, that won't really work, because he still needs another GX knockout.
He still needs 4 prizes, so he will need a knockout this turn if he wants to win the game, but...
yeah, so that just means there's no possible way for Hironori to win.
Yeah, it looks like Hironori actually might have thought it was a knockout and forgotten. Looks like he went to take prizes. Now we are on turn 2.
Turn 1.
Oh, sorry, turn 1, right?
And that means it's Jeremiah's game to lose right now, or to tie.
Yeah, I mean, he still, after this turn, he still has another turn, so he can take a knockout here in a variety of ways. He's just going to need to make sure that he can set himself up to take a knockout on his last turn as well. So Jeremiah, I think, was under 10% to win this game just 15 minutes ago, and now has crawled back.
And I think with the way it's looking, Espeon EX might take the final knockout, because he could Guzma bring up a EX Pokemon that he can knock out with the Drampa, and then just Espeon EX de-evolve the Mega Rayquaza.
Yeah, the fear there might be an Acerola, I guess. Okay, it's going to take the knockout, so now we are moving into Hironori's final turn of the game, turn 2. Hironori will not be able to win this game unless there's something going on. I don't know, but no, he's just going to go ahead and play Tapu Lele.
And there's the Guzma.
And wow, that's it.
Wow.
Jeremiah Williams, on his very last turn, after being so far behind in Game 3, Jeremiah Williams slowly crawls back and takes the win and advances to Day 2 of the World Championship.
Yeah, Espeon EX MVP. that game.
Yeah, I mean, that's what won him the game, right? He was very far behind. He found a Po-Town, which stabilized things, but still, if we saw in game 2, he found Po-Towns and Hironori just bounced them immediately, right?
Yeah, but now the Po-Town led to the Drampa surviving with 10 HP.
Right, exactly. It was a combination of finding that Po-Town and then the very next turn finding that Espeon. And like we said, the Rayquaza deck can be very fragile. It can fall apart in times like that. You saw that we were like, oh man, 2 attackers. Jeremiah's going to have a tough time dealing with that. And then suddenly